Kobe is from Ghana, and he lives in Shanghai. And we've done some projects together, and he does a weekly dance class. And I come from a dance background. My mother's a tap dance teacher, and I've studied dance all over. So I think
Shanghai.
I'm gonna do it tonight.
Mm.
Who was that? Was that me?
You
All right, it's all good.
continue.
So I think we're gonna go to dance class today. Tomorrow, and I got a bunch of gigs this weekend. I'm DJing around, even though one or two got canceled. It should be fun.
Are you staying local or are you traveling this weekend?
This weekend, I'm staying in Shanghai. Next week, my tour starts, and so, next Thursday is World Goth Day that I'm hosting,
Oh,
and then Friday, Saturday is This Is Ska, China, mainland China's biggest ska festival. Have you heard this? Have you heard about that, Jess?
I've heard about it from you, and we're going to talk about it tonight, I think.
All right.
But first,
And that's in Hangzhou. And then the Sunday I had to I could break down every city now. I've got it at the top of my head. But so next weekend I hit the road.
awesome. How far is, well, we'll get into that later, actually. I'm just going to introduce you now. This is Jess. You're listening to Ska Talk with Ska. I don't want to stay all alone because I'm here with my guest, but this is the first interview I'm doing myself that hasn't been on site in probably over a year.
Wow. We're gonna keep it a party though. It's
Yeah,
a
and
two-man party,
it's
two-person party.
really it's the first live I've ever done myself for sure. So feel honored because it's a little bit out of my comfort zone, but that's okay.
No worries. We're gonna have a good time.
Tonight I am here with DJ Bo, who I met up with what, like a few months ago, I guess. He's punching me.
Yeah, I got DJ
That kind of
Bo. Look at
DJ,
that.
DJ Bo, I say.
Yeah.
That's cool. What's on the other hand?
SH number two, Shanghai's number two DJ. And I
Wait,
got a whole bunch of
who's number one and why aren't you number one?
I'm still working. Maybe after Ska Gazine. Yeah, I said that right. I can work my way up to it. But in the meantime, we got to get through it. It's all about the process. It's about the journey, not the destination, Jess.
I understand. Is there a number one that you look up to?
Look up to might be strong words, but we always need to aspire. I take
Okay.
the motto of Run DMC describing Jam Master Jay. That it's only practice makes a real jam master. So everything is just practicing for the next thing.
Okay. You keep practicing. You're going to do a lot of it this weekend and next week.
Well, you're just working and you're preparing for the next thing. Everything is a learning process. That's what I really try to do, and I really do try to lean up to it. I have that tattooed over my back. And I love Run DMC. Very inspirational for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was in Vegas for my 30th birthday and there was going to be a Run DMC show and they were going to let all the ladies in for free and the guys decided they didn't want to go and I was pissed and we didn't go.
What kind of
I
whack
don't
sucker
even
MCs and sad face clowns were you
I
hanging
know.
out with?
It was my birthday weekend too. Like what the fuck? Anyway,
I have
it,
some connections to Run DMC, but I've only seen Run perform live at a DJ set here in Shanghai, and I got to interview him before the show, which was pretty cool. And I know some people have worked with DMC, but I have not. But I'd love to talk to him.
yeah, that'd be cool.
Are you into any hip hop at all? Is this breaking the code for
Um,
your podcast?
no, I mean I'm into pretty much everything. I'm not a whole lot of hip hop, but I like some hip hop. I guess
For
don't
sure,
ask
for
me to
sure.
name stuff because I don't like it that much. But like, all right, so I like a little punk with some hip hop. Like I went to see Head PE the other night.
Oh yeah, that's
That
cool.
was really fucking fun and like taking me back in time because I hadn't listened to them in a very long time. And they played my local venue, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go to this. And I had a blast.
Fantastic. Would you say you go to shows more than once a week? Once a week?
Mhm. Normally, yeah. In the winter, it like slows down and I get really depressed. But then this time of year, it's picking up
Hmm.
for sure. And now
And
that I'm
and
hosting shows, it's like even more.
Well, tell me about that because that's really exciting. I saw
Okay.
that you had saw a post about that, and now Be the Scene Productions. Is that right?
B2C
So
production,
are you emceeing it as well, or are you just producing the shows? How's that working?
producing the shows. There's no MC. It's just they're little DIY 100 capacity room shows, bringing bands through to play their first time in Philly and adding some local support pretty much. But we're not here
That's
to
cool.
interview me, DJ Bo. We're here to interview you.
But I'm learning. Everything's only practice. Okay, what do you want to hear about? What do you want to know?
I want to know your background. You're not from Shanghai. You come from
No.
the States, maybe?
Florida. I'm from Florida. I grew up in South Florida, in Coral Springs, Florida, a little crappy suburb down there. And then
Where's
I
Coral Springs close to?
Fort Lauderdale.
Okay.
And Newfound Glory represents Coral Springs as well. Although, yeah, I really wasn't connected to them, although they're just a little older than I am. And then I went to university in North Florida, Gainesville.
I know
And what's that?
I know of Gainesville. I haven't been there, but I know of it.
Well, Gainesville Rock City
Hmm. Yep.
from Less Than Jake, of course. That's some great ska stuff. Between my junior and my senior year of high school, I lost 50 pounds and I changed a lot. And I was determined that when I went to college at the University of Florida, that I was going to really have a transformation, and I did. I really found an identity in the music scene there and really just kind of found my voice and my people. And I would say the primary music movement and vibe there that I really got into was ska music.
I figured you would
Uh,
share that.
yeah, and you had the Know-How and One Pump Chump, and of course, Less Than Jake was around, and they wouldn't play too often, although they would have side projects. Sometimes play for fun. There was one thing they did called the Shits, I think, at one point. And one group that was a little before my time, but they would have reunions every once in a while was the Usuals. Oh, I just lost a postcard. And they did even like theme songs for a teppanyaki restaurant. I think they worked with. I mean, Gainesville's a really cool town. Gainesville, my favorite cities in the States, right, are these college towns in the South. Because you got the mix of the Southern hospitality and welcoming vibe and the space, but you have the intellectual center and some of the artistic bent and edge from universities. And so Gainesville, I know it was true at some point. It had one of the highest per capita artist ratios in the United States. So you have that, and you have Athens, Georgia, Asheville, North Carolina, one or two others. And I really, really loved it. And I would go to shows all the time, especially when I arrived. The place was this place called Common Grounds. And it had started as a coffee shop. And we saw some of the last, like, right before they got big against me shows were at Common Grounds and stuff before they really outgrew it. And I remember when they opened for the Rolling Stones and it was a big thing for the scene. But yeah, me and a couple of buddies that I met, this guy named Buck, and we would just go to shows every single night. And that was the thing to do, right? And it's very DIY. And yeah, I could talk about that a lot. But, this is before. Are you familiar like with the Fest?
I mean, yes, but I've never been there.
Yeah, I went to some of the earlier iterations of it, but this is like right before that. But you had Fueled by Ramen Records office
Mhm.
not far from there, and of course, there's the Less Than Jake connection to that. And yeah, very quickly I started getting involved. I really learned the sort of if you want something to happen, you got to make it happen. And so I did everything. I probably done everything at some point. I would distribute flyers. We'd put them up on the light poles. I don't think that's really a thing anymore. I
Oh,
hope it
it
is, but
is. I'm
probably
still
not.
doing that. It's a thing.
Good, good. I just worry because I saw that go away in a lot of places with social media. So people just don't even look up and stuff. That's great. I designed flyers. I worked merch tables. I produced shows. I emceed shows. And, like I would read like crazy introductions and do kind of comedy skits and bits. And I had played in a punk band and did all that. And to kind of give you the story how I ended up here and how things ended up. We would produce these shows, and I would put a lot of effort into making it like immersive and interesting. Like I produced some of the shows on campus that hadn't been happening for a long time, and music festivals on campus because I was an RA in the dormitories and involved with student government. And we would add DJs there, and I would put together playlists for in between the bands. People liked that, and I was already, I was reading a lot of music books, and people kind of suggested that I start DJing or try that out. And at first, like I did it like in a real kind of silly way, just with like a laptop. My first DJ gigs were at this place called Tim and Terry's, which was a purple house, and I had a girlfriend who worked at the front there, and I did like an 80s night or a 50s night or whatever. So I just started DJing a little bit, and then I saw my friends in Gainesville. And cut me off at any point here if you want me to.
No, you can keep talking.
Um, all right. Well, I saw a lot of my friends kind of just hanging out, working at coffee shops, smoking a lot of pot, and I was like, I don't want to be doing that after I graduated. And so I knew there were two things that I really liked. I liked traveling. I used to take what I called Saturday adventures, which I would curate some friends and we'd go into my car and we'd take like a day trip to someplace funky, like a wax museum of presidents that had partially melted because the air conditioner broke and like their heads kind of drooped over and like a catfish festival in Georgia. So I love traveling and I love volunteering. I just always did a lot of community work and stuff. And at the time, I was making and selling T-shirts at local boutiques. And so I could speak a little Spanish because I was in Florida. I was like, I'm gonna join the Peace Corps. And so, are you familiar with the Peace Corps at all?
I mean, I know what it is, and I know you get to travel if you're in it, right? Is that what it is?
Exactly. I'm not,
I
I'm
actually
not
have
quite sure what
I
people
have a
know it, but
friend who was part of the scene that just joined in the past few years, and she's like everywhere.
that's
So
fantastic. So, for your listeners, 'cause I don't know exactly where your audience is at and stuff. If Peace Corps was a program that was kind of initiated by John F. K., president, and the idea was to take Americans to volunteer in developing countries for 2 years. So there's 3 months training and then 2 years volunteering. And so I wanted to go to South America. I liked Latin girls, and that was cool. So I was going to do business in South America. I got signed, it done, uh, lined up for it. And then they said, your program got delayed. And I was like, damn it. They're like, okay, you can wait for it, or there's an opening in Central Asia teaching English. I was like, all right, that's cool. What I didn't know at the time is that there was perennially openings in Central Asia teaching English because nobody wanted to do it. It wasn't as sexy as, being in Thailand, drinking from a coconut. Central Asia doesn't kind of have that sort of vibe, you know. And so I did it, and it was like Mission Impossible. You got a letter in the mail, and then you opened it up, and it said Mongolia. And I had like 48 hours to accept or not accept or whatever. And I was like, yeah, sure. I had no idea about Mongolia. I there was nothing, right?
that's
I'm
pretty
gonna
great.
skip. Yeah, it was pretty cool. I'll skip ahead with some stuff because we don't need to go too much into like my story. But in Mongolia, I started DJing and I had a radio show that was broadcast in Mongolia and in the United States through community radio and stuff. So I started DJing more, producing shows, did some music, brought some of that DIY club scene to Mongolia. At the time, there wasn't much of like of a regular club scene. And some of the connections I made there, I continue and also started. There's a YouTube channel called Art Care, and that ties back into some things that's doing really well now. Founded by my good buddy in Darkhan, the countryside, called Jaucha Ara. who I still talk to just about every day. Moved back to South Florida and worked for Platinum Gold Entertainment as a dancer and an MC for party companies. But I wanted to really, I danced at the halftime show of the Super Bowl behind The Who.
Oh,
Unfortunately, by then, John Entwistle had passed away, so they didn't play the song "The Ox." But that was fun. And then I applied for a bunch of jobs. I moved to Shanghai. It was opening. It was available, and I was like, no more nightlife. I'm getting serious with my life and career. This is it. You know, no more silly stuff. My second day there, I saw King Kong and Barbecue Show at a place called Yuying, and I started this party company with this group called Trash a Go Go, and then I started taking DJing more seriously and started working at it. And yeah, I can go into more stuff, but now I travel all around and I DJ along with producing events and doing media and a bunch of other stuff.
and how long have you been there?
I first moved to Shanghai a long time ago in 2010. Yeah.
Six, 6 years.
So I've also had apartments in other places as well during that time. And like I'm on the road a lot. So in next week, I'm going to start the world's longest DJ tour by train. And it's going to take me through August, May through August. So I'm going to curve all the way around to southern China, some festivals along the way, including This Is Ska.
Hey, is
And
this
then go,
after your festival? But that's during it.
that's going to be the first stop on it.
Okay.
Originally, I was going to start the tour after, but I realized, like a couple weeks after, but I realized, hey, I'm already kind of leaving for Hangzhou, where This Is Ska is happening, mainland China's biggest reggae ska event, and something I'm a co-producer for, which I'm going to talk to you about real soon. But I was like, okay, well, fuck it. I'm just going to start it earlier and curve around more and then head to the southern kind of tip of mainland China, which is Dali. And then I'm going to take that all the way to St. Petersburg, which is just about as far as you can go. Russia. Last year I DJ'd in Russia. I kind of specialize in going. I kind of think about it like this. Like to me, when I DJ, I want to have a voice and an experience, a story to tell. And for me, I do that by trying to only DJ and play music from places that I've been. I kind of unlock it like it's a Pokemon or something, right? So, I go to a place and then I can DJ the music from there. And then I have a connection because with a lot of DJing, people just torrent a bunch of music and then they press play. Like, in Gainesville, there was some DJing with some hip hop groups and fusion groups. And there were some nightlight clubs that were popular in the scene, and there was a local radio show. Is DJing much of a thing in Philly for you at all?
No, I mean it happens, but not for me. But
Yeah, I completely understand. Like I started with live music, and I know a lot of people kind of look down on DJing in a sense, and I
no,
and I
I
really
don't.
do get it, you know.
It's not very prevalent in like discussing where I am. There was this is not Croydon Fest did have some DJs on site, not this past year, but years past. They didn't do that this year. There's a couple ska shows where they had people come out to DJ before and had like a little pre-party, but
Mhm.
that's the extent of it, I think.
Is there
Supernova, on the other hand, Supernova Festival, they have DJs there.
is there like I'm just curious about this. Sorry if this is we don't have to talk about Philadelphia.
That's fine.
Um, is there like good like punk rock dance nights with DJs or anything to that effect?
Yeah, there's more emo nights than punk nights these days, but yeah, they do have those with DJs.
Yeah, yeah. Like to me, like I always like to incorporate so there's a group that I've been think because I'm doing the Critical Music Club, which we're co-producing this Sunday. We're
We
talking
are.
about scene songs.
Mhm.
Critical Music Club is an online music discussion group that I do, and we're talking about scene songs. So I've been listening back to songs that kind of define the scenes that I've lived in. And this will kind of give you this kind of is autobiographical in a sense. I figure I've lived in kind of five scenes, which is perfect because we're making our top five scene songs,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. So you're gonna choose one from each for your list?
Yeah.
So,
exactly. And
is
from
one of them going to be a
Gainesville,
Less Than Jake song?
no, I do have ska punk represented, but not. Although like they sing the song "Liquor Store," and we used to sing that song and go yell at it, and then go to the liquor store in
Uh-huh.
Gainesville and we'd see some of the guys there. But no, there was one thing they did. I produced shows, and there was like a punk attitude hip hop duo called Scum of the Earth, and they
Okay.
would reference the Germs and Darby Crash, and they would be in the mosh pit and stuff. But they did hip hop music, and they had a DJ named Bobby Wax Adam, and like I would produce shows and have him DJ in between bands. To me, that just kind of keeps the vibe going. So I've been thinking about that because I'm going to include a Scum of the Earth song where they rap about their city and their scene. Like I love a good song like about the community and about the city. Is there like a Philly song like that where it's you need to be there to know it, you know?
You're
Is there
putting,
anything like that for you?
I don't think there is, honestly. I'll think of one after we're done here, I'm sure, and then I'll message you. If I think of one, I will add it to my list and take off one of the others. How's that sound?
Like I told you about, I'm not including this song, but Scum of the Earth has a song called the Monday Night Shuffle, which was just making fun of the weekly, kind of emo indie rock dance night. And it
Uh-huh.
just, you wouldn't know anything about this unless you've been there and stuff. Anyway,
Heard Philly. I'm
so
like,
yeah,
I don't think of a Philly song like that's for Philly. I think of Hub City Stompers for Philly. What the fuck?
there needs to be some Philly songs there. Like, I
Yeah,
like, because to me, like I think of like places because I grew up in Coral Springs. There's no culture there. It's devoid of it. Like when there's a new Publix supermarket opening, people get excited. Like that was the thing. Like it's just crazy. But Philadelphia, my gosh, first of all, the sound of Philadelphia, like the Philly disco, not really my sound. I'm much more of a Memphis guy, so you have the disco thing, but also the Roots, Jedi Mind
yeah.
Tricks.
Mhm.
Like, I mean, what a PSK, Schoolie D. Like, I think of Philly hip hop is really strong and stuff. And yeah, I don't know. But we're here to talk about ska, right?
Yeah. I mean,
So
Scout and you.
ska and me. Well,
Oh, and you.
yeah, but there's a lot. That's a lot of stuff about me. But I don't know. I'm happy. I'll talk about me all day. But so the ska scene. Let me just go back and say this: the ska scene in Gainesville, Gliffer, all the like. I just think of the Mushi, like all these people. They just come back to me, seeing all these shows, seeing groups that were not in Gainesville that would come through all the time. One group I think about is the Independents. Do you know them at all?
I don't. I
From the
should
Carolinas.
know.
What's
Carolina
that?
from the Carolinas.
Yeah, Myrtle Beach. They were an interesting group. I think they're out now. They before the independence, my dog from This Is Scott Radio, who's such a fountain of knowledge,
You know,
mentioned
we're bringing him
Spy's
in
first
soon,
Sabbatical.
just so you know. We set that up today.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah.
He's been a really nice guy to know, and he's been playing some songs from This Is Ska. But so apparently they had a group before called Spies on Sabbatical. Spies, yeah, Spies on. But I knew them as the Independents. So here's their story a little bit. I mean, they were a ska punk band, although they also did some heavy metal group. There's a lot of fusion stuff. But when Joey Ramone finished with the Ramones, he took them on to be his band to manage and kind of produce. And their first kind of major album is called Back from the Grave. And I think he was officially the co-producer along with Daniel Ray, who produced all the Ramon
Look
stuff.
at that.
And these guys used to blow my mind. Their lead singer, uh, his name was Evil Presley, and what a great show they definitely put on. So they were definitely one of my favorites. I also think of let's see, who do I got here? Oh, Mustard Plug used to come through. The Toasters.
Plug.
What's that? Yeah, they
Plug
used
it
to come
in.
through Florida. There's one of those groups everywhere. The only group I think of that tours more that was just always through was the Toasters, right?
Yeah. And they just played This Is Not Creative Fest. They're still going.
Yeah, they don't. So let, okay, let's tie in some more modern connection to that. I used to see the Toasters all the time, Bucket and whoever else, and especially in Florida. This is a funny connection for your listeners, watchers, friends, family. Uh, one of they used to have a toaster, like doing like the dance hall kind of vocals with Bucket, whose name was who's the guy? Oh, who's the guy? Not who's the guy that shot Lee Harvey Oswald, JFK? Who's the guy that shot Lee Harvey Oswald? He was, and then who shot Lee Harvey Oswald? I can't think of his freaking name, but because Lee Harvey Oswald was famously
Uh,
shot while he was in the police station.
Jack Ruby?
Yes.
There
So
you
you
go.
had Jack Ruby Jr. There you go. So Jack Ruby Jr. He just took the name, I think, to my understanding, and he was the toaster, and he lived in Florida, so they would use him in Florida a bit. Uh, and his nephew what is had like a huge hit. He had the song where they sampled um, "Stand by Me." Sean Kingston. Yeah, that's what it is. I didn't even have to look it up. I almost did. So he had that song where he said, but that was his nephew, which was just a weird connection. Anyway, the Toasters. So back to this is mid 2000s. I'm seeing the Toasters. I moved to Mongolia, back in the States, moved to Shanghai, and someone that I've connected with here and worked on a couple things with. His name is Sean Cavo Dinsmore. He lived in Shanghai for a while. He now lives in Hong Kong, and he was an early vocalist for the Toasters. In fact, like on the album Thrill Me Up, he sings like four of the songs. Yeah, he was on this album, and he lives in Hong Kong. And I've done some A&R projects for him. Yeah, there he is, right there. Boom, boom.
Nice.
So there was some ska connections here, and so there's a Hong Kong ska band called the Red Stripes who are playing This Is Ska May 22, May 23rd in Hangzhou, and he produced this album for them, and he even does some little percussive vocals on the song Rude, Rude, Rude. So there's ska connections that come into Asia
Sweet.
from my roots
I'm
there.
gonna stop you for 1 second because we have some stuff in the chat.
What's
Lee,
up?
Lee is from the Carolinas and he has seen the Independents 30 times. And he was at their last show. He's comparing their set to that of the Boy Detective. Now, have you ever seen the Independents live? I'm
Uh,
asking you. Yeah.
oh, I saw them so many times. I saw them
Like
dozens of
a
times.
wild live show or
It was a wild live show. They were at the tail end when bands would use pyrotechnics in clubs.
oh,
You know, do you remember like right before right after, the Great White Incident happened, with that metal band, like they were doing explosives and it was a wild show. And I really loved their recordings back from the grave, and then even the album after that. Ask your guy if they're still together. I also saw them in New York at one of the Joey Ramone tribute shows put on by his brother Mickey.
he said
Um,
he knows both Vincent and Willie. Are they in the band, I guess? But he did say he went to their last show, so I'm assuming that means they're no longer together.
Yeah. Yeah, Willie, I think, was their guitarist. Yeah. And maybe that the other name was Evil's real name. I don't know. If someone's got a cool stage name, I stick with it. That's fine with
Right,
me.
of course.
So they were a band that I used to love seeing a lot. Super high energy ska punk. But here in Shanghai in China, there's not so much of there's not really a ska scene. There's been a few bands kind of pop up. Um, when I arrived, it was the tail end of a group. If you want to play some of these song samples, you can.
Oh, I am great at sharing songs. Yeah, sure, let's do it.
Well, there was a group called Uprooted Sunshine, which was a sound system, right? And they had one of their main vocalists was Cha Cha. Boom. And Cha Cha has kind of moved on into kind of different music for the most part. But she recorded with Ranking Joe, she recorded with Sly and Robbie and others. And in terms of like Shanghai ska, especially like 10, 15, even longer years ago, this was like the voice for it. So I sent you a
Yeah, you
song
want
that
to
she
share
did
that
with
one
Ranking
now?
Joe. One day you'll know. If you want to hear like more on the trad ska side, uh, what Shanghai has to offer with ska, why don't you check it out?
Johnson, baby, I love you so. You are loving, 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 you want you know the people like you want to listen to the people coming to know some people face some one I know I'm telling you around the people coming to one to the one time goodness gracious. Do babu day. The baby come and skank it with me.
这是生命中最重要的时刻，我应该有属于自己的生活。
Baby girl,
我会过得很快乐。
tell about it, live it up one time goodness gracious.
这是选择的时刻，没有什么舍不得，人总要学会取舍。
What baby,
有时失
baby.
去比拥有快乐。
Baby.
Yeah. Is that oh, can't hear you. But
I like that. That was cool.
yeah, like
Yeah.
you're more into like would you say you're more into like the punkier side or some of that
Me,
sound
for,
is okay?
for sure, I'm more into the punkier side, but I dig that too.
Yeah,
Like, give me some ska core,
cool.
some punk ska, and I'm happy. But I've learned so
Yeah. So there was that, and there's been bands like in Shanghai, the group in Shanghai with their lead vocalist, saxophone player left Shanghai a year back, but he's coming back. It's a group called Hog Choker. There's one of their T-shirts because they don't got any records, and they
you
have a song called Crip
you have
Camp.
everything next to you.
This is serious business. This is Skagazine, okay? This is Ska Talk. I'm ready.
All right. You're like the most
So
person ever.
this is serious business. I take this stuff seriously. So I have a song from them, Crip Camp, which is very ska punky.
You want to hear it?
Uh, you're the boss. This is
Yeah,
your
I
show.
mean, I'll play it. This is all new to me, so it's except brain failure. I see brain failure out there. Like, um,
Yeah.
I'll
What
play
what?
some hog choker right now.
Yeah. This is their song, Crip Camp. Crip Camp live on Ska Talk.
Rodeos were always seen as the best, I guess because they looked the normalest. Us CPs were crouched down below the tree. Couldn't even be on the lowest tree limb. I'm not even talking metaphorical things. Even at crib camp there was a hierarchy. But at crib camp Judy treated me like a king, like a person, not a thing. At least something like a human being. So don't talk about me as if I'm not there. Don't talk to my camera, I wanna share my own thoughts, but I'm not even seen. Cause you're all so busy keeping me safe, you never ask me what I wanna say, or
Yeah.
All
Fun,
right.
right?
I figure 60 seconds is good, right?
That's good. I guess so.
I mean, you sent me
So
21 songs, so you know.
I'm prepared. You got to be ready. We're not going to get to everything.
I know.
Well, like one thing that I can mention when I arrived to China, like there were, 2010, there wasn't too much, like I was more in the punk scene, right?
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of the bands weren't very active. We had the Uproot Sunshine with Cha Cha, who we heard before. They would do things in Shanghai. Soon after, a guy named Jado, I sent you one of his songs. He's a more of a dance hall vocalist, but he'll do some ska every once in a while. Well, let me back up. For I was thinking about this. Let's get philosophical, Jess. You ready? Let's
Yep,
do it.
let's do it.
When you say ska, what do you mean? And I have like a couple options there, but have you thought about that at all?
Yeah, there needs to be upbeats if it's ska, right?
So okay, so I was thinking about this, right? I feel like there's three kind of ways you can interpret ska, right? There's the musicality, right? On the upbeats, usually horns, like the keyboards on the ups, right? Like this is traditional, like the musicality thing, right? I think the kind of second kind of idea is also like the sort of cultural form about it, right? There's the fashion, there's the black and white. Like, there's an artist in Changsha who makes a lot of the artwork around here. I forgot his name, but like when you see like this, you know it's a ska band. You don't have to hear it, right?
Hmm. Am I muted? Oh, yes,
No,
I
I
know
hear you
that's a
fine.
ska band by looking at it for sure.
So yeah, like there's more um to it than just the musicality. There's the fashion signifiers and the culture of it, and
And
there's
I would add to that the community because there's no community like the ska community.
it's really kind of true, right? Like when you see, I don't know what it is with ska. Maybe it's
It's happy and yeah. I mean, the lyrics might not be happy, but the music's happy and just want to dance and love everybody and have a good time.
yeah, that's so important too. So yeah, like there's the music and there's the culture and there's the history of it, the lineage of it too, because like when like I'd mentioned Giotto doing, some vocals on a ska track, or like the Clash will do like did a ska song every once in a while. But they're not
Right.
really like a ska band, right?
And there's a lot of bands like that.
Yeah, for sure. Um, but like one band that had like the kind of culture of it and the aesthetic of it was that would come through Shanghai, a bunch that was based in Beijing, was Mi Sandao, which is kind of a funny term. Like it's like it's like a snack of three fingers. But anyway, and they had a lead singer named Lai Jun, and they were like road warrior. They were a road warrior band, and they were skinheads, and they wore the boots, and it was oi oi oi, and some of the stuff was very oi punky, and then some of it would get into ska punk and the style, but they were really just really important for the history of kind of China ska and punk, for kind of waving the flag for the style.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, Lee Jun, who's super nice and always treated me really, really nicely, even though he's this big, rough guy, always with like a cigarette and always a beer and always a burger in his hand. I don't know how he had three hands, but he did. He had a real gruff voice. He passed away in 2015, very young. But they're still considered one of the godfathers of like that sort of scene. And in Beijing, still, I wore this T-shirt. There's still Punk Rock Noodle, which was his restaurant, which is now like a brand. Can you see that a bit? I don't know. Move that. Punk Rock
Yes,
Noodle. Yeah. But like, yeah, if you want Do you want to hear a little bit about some of the other like important China punk bands? Do you want to hear about This Is Ska? What do you want to hear about?
Oh, let's hear some mis, how do you say it? Misandio first?
Misandao, yeah. So
Misandao.
yeah,
Let's hear it first.
look, there's some Misandao. Check it out.
Rudy boy and Rudy girls. It's dancing time. It's dancing time for you. You wanna dance? You wanna dance? Let's react. Let me introduce my band. Hey, 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 E, hey, oh, me sundown. Remember the name?
Yeah. They
Fun.
put on those amazing shows, really good stuff. Um, but they toured a lot. So there were other reggae ska bands that maybe had been around for a while. Because one thing you got to keep in mind is like you don't really get you have like the in China, you had communism, you had the Cultural Revolution. For a long time, there was no Western music or only drips and drops of it. Actually, well, in Shanghai in the 1920s and 30s, you had the Jazz Age, right? Because Japan, you had the Opium Wars came to Shanghai, where Britain and with support from America and other countries, they wanted Britain really wanted to sell opium to the Chinese, and Chinese tried to keep them out. So they attacked Shanghai, and there was all these concessions, all of these areas in Shanghai where they carved it up and gave it to other countries. Anyway, so Shanghai was a port city, and there was jazz. And one of the important groups was Jimmy King. He was actually Filipino, and they did some of the early kind of fusion jazz music and bringing in Western music into China. But I definitely wanted to mention that because on some of their reunions later on, there's a dripping of Caribbean music, not necessarily reggae music, but they would have on some of their latter reunion recordings from the Jimmy King Band the song Rum and Coca-Cola, which was originally a Lord Invader song that was made famous by the Andrews Sisters. So what I want to kind of show is like there's these dribblings of Caribbean music making its way into China, right?
Mhm.
And then in the 50s and 60s, Hong Kong is under the British flag, right? And so they have also British until 64, I think it is, early 60s, is Jamaica. So Jamaicans would make their way over, no, Hong Kong people would make their way over to Jamaica. And they had some very important connections there that influenced the Jamaican music community. There's a really great comic by uh, by a guy named Krish, and it kind of tells the history of China, Hong Kong, in Jamaica. But one thing that definitely I gotta mention is let me show you this record here if I can find it real quick. Oh yeah, here we are. So some people might be familiar with Randy's. Boom.
Mhm.
And very important reggae. So ska kind of came before reggae, right? It's right after Mento music in the late 50s, early 60s. Randy's last name was Chin, and Chin had come from Hong Kong. His family had come from Hong Kong, so they were involved very early on in reggae and ska music in Jamaica. Clive Chin, Randy Chin, This is Lord Creator, one of my favorite, probably maybe my favorite early ska artists. Very smooth vocal. He comes from that New Orleans tradition of, singing like a smooth soul singer in a sense, right? But also, Byron Lee, who was half Chinese, half Hong Kong. His father was from Hong Kong, so there's that connection there. And you have a guy named Stephen Chung who sang a song called "Always Together." I got the 45 not here somewhere. So you have reggae rhythms with Chinese, and so there's this sort of fusion that happens a bit, but you don't really get it back in the mainland, in mainland China or Hong Kong, even at that point. One kind of example that might be interesting is like, you have a song like this though, Obla Di Obla Da. Now, this was a version put out by the Bedrocks, and that song is almost kind of a ska song. It's got the oompa sort of feel to it, but they really turned it into a ska song. This was put out in England right in the 60s as the Beatles put out the White Album with Obla Di Obla Da. But then you get, like, for example, Rita Chow, who was a big star in Hong Kong, and this is a bootleg record actually, and she does a cover of Obla Di Obla Da. Does that count as early ska in Asia? I don't know. Definitely worth mentioning. But then also, the song Yellow Bird is a Haitian song that kind of becomes a folk song and all around. You can find some Asian covers of that from Singapore and Hong Kong as well. That doesn't even get mentioned very well, but I want to mention. Hey, let me bring it back though to the Ska Festival, right? So one of the important bands for China Ska that's been around a long time, they haven't always been so active, is called Brick Ska.
Oh
And
yes,
Da Zhang, what's that?
we've talked about them. Yeah.
Yeah, and their guitarist, his name is Da Zhang. He has a nightclub in Hangzhou called Nine Club, which in Chinese is kind of a pun because Zhou is nine, and to drink a bar is Zhou Ba, so Zhou Ba. So anyway, but it's called Nine Club, and that's like his base. And he started This Is Ska Festival. So now, just about 4 years ago, actually, I think the pandemic they might have skipped one, and uh, bringing in the first year I think was just Chinese bands. The second year I think they had Scarface from France,
Mhm.
Scarface, yeah, and I think a Japanese band or two. The third year, which was last year, they brought me in to DJ and help out, and there was a bunch of Japanese bands, some I can talk about, and I brought in the Red Stripes from Hong Kong, and it went well, and so it became mainland China's biggest reggae ska event for the year. And so this year is going to be the fourth one, and it's going to be the biggest mainland Chinese reggae ska event for the entire year. Expecting about 700, 800 people, which for here is a lot for this sort of thing. It's over 2 days, 10 bands, DJs, after parties. It's going to be a lot of fun. You got something you want to play? Oh, yeah, you got the poster of it there. There you
Flyer.
go. So, uh, let me look at this. So RWF has played it before. They've been around in China a lot. Jaffe, I think it's their first time. The third group listed is Brain Failure. So Brain Failure has been around since like 97. They're one of China's very, very oldest bands. I have one of their early singles here. Yeah, that's them. And yeah, Brain Failure. Actually, you can see on the B side a group called Anarchy Punks. I sent you these songs. Well, I think I sent you one of the songs. They do Oi 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 and Punk's Not Dead. So like they're the idea of like punk bands doing like a ska punk song fit in there. But anyway, Brain Failure, who I just had on the CMC, they're going to be doing a special ska set for the festival. Last year, kind of other like long-standing pseudo-legendary China punk band Demerit also did that. So now it's become a tradition, I guess, of like one of the most prominent punk bands doing a special ska set for the ska festival. After that listed is Jigon Orchestra, who I was very excited to bring in because to me, like one thing is like I want to kind of connect the Asia ska community. Jigon Orchestra is from Vietnam. I did a show with them in Thailand, with my buddy Josh, and so they're kind of blowing up on the scene there in Vietnam. They just had a big hit called Chinatown. Do kind of pop rocky, but ska punk fun vibes too. Very silly, fun music videos. Kind of got that vibe. Um, After that is Danny Frust. Now Danny Frust is a king. He is a king. So he is from Indonesia, and I got one of his things here. There he is. He doesn't got any records, unfortunately, but there he is, beat up on the album cover from his last album. Boom. It's all right, as he likes to say. Boom. So he was in one of the pioneering Indonesian ska bands called Monkey Boots. That's only like 20 years ago. There's a band called, I think it's called Upstairs, and them who were kind of in this wave of ska. So he did some work with Monkey Boots, then he went solo, and he is the Indonesian Prince of Ska. That's his nickname. He's about this big. Kidding, he's a slight frame, but like one of those guys who just kind of blows the stage away. Like if you see anyone sees videos of him, he really kills it. We had him with my former party group that disbanded now called Trash a Go Go, and it was cool. But I think he's finally going to get the right audience from him in for This Is Ska, and he just blows people away.
I feel like
He is
him
an
and
act that should be of international quality. What's that?
did we talk about him on the Fish Style episode, maybe?
I
Sounds
think I brought him up. I think I
okay.
brought him up. He is like it's amazing walking around with him in Indonesia because people will stop him and want to take pictures with him, but it's all like working class people. He comes from, a very working class of the people sort of vibe. He's a champion of the people for sure. And he sings like a bird. He's amazing. If people don't know Danny Fruits, do you want to, if you want, you can
Do
play
I
some of
have
Danny
him
Fruits or
here?
whatever. I think he's in there, right? I hope so.
Let's see. I
If
have,
not, people should check him out on YouTube and everything else.
let me see if you sent me him. No,
If
I
not,
don't.
it's fine.
I don't think you did.
Well, sorry, Danny Frust, but people should
Man,
check him out on YouTube.
but I do
It's
want to play
there.
Brain Failure before we move on to day two. Can we play some Brain Failure?
Yeah, play some Brain Failure.
Because,
They are one of China's longest running ska punk bands. Punk bands. They've done some ska throughout. They've worked with Chuck D. Did vocals on one of their songs for Public Enemy, and yeah, this is their most recent album, Fuck Off 2020.
个深呼吸，把桌上的酒都给干了，然后冲到城市里。Go hippie，肮脏的 hippie，Go hippie，Go hippie，颓废的 hippie，Go hippie，Go hippie，迷路的 hippie，城市里的摇滚乐已经变得不再怕。Go hippie，Go hippie，下流的 hippie，Go hippie，Go hippie，叛逆的 hippie，Go hippie，Go hippie，无奈的 hippie，城市里的摇滚乐已经变得不再叛逆。
Boom. Can't hear you.
Decided to go a little bit longer with that one.
It's a good vibe, right? That's some great
Yeah.
guitar. Yeah, by
Love
DD.
it.
So yeah. Is there any questions or comments in the section there? Does anyone want to know everything?
Not right now. No.
That's fine. That's fine. Um, but yeah, they're certainly an important band. Their song, um, "Coming Down to Beijing," "Coming Down," yeah, is one of the most iconic China punk songs. They were one of the first. They were on Hellcat Records. They
Mhm.
did stuff with oh, not Flogging Molly, Irish ska punk, Irish punk band.
I Fogging Molly.
Not Flogging Molly. There's another one.
Drop
Ah,
Dropkick
Dropkick
Murphys.
Murphys. Yeah, there you go. They one of the guys, Chris, I think, produced some of their stuff.
Uh,
Like so, they're one of the earlier bands in China, underground punk music to kind of connect with the West in that sense.
so
If
check
that
this.
means anything.
Flogging Molly is like, one of the guys is sick right now, right?
Yeah.
So there is a new band forming with one of the members of Flogging Molly called A100. They're a ska band. They have one single release so far. I think it's called like, I forget what it's called, but they have a single out. Look for A100s, and I've heard the whole album, and it's damn fucking good. They're playing
How do you how do you keep up with your ska news?
Oh my God. I'm constantly on my fucking phone. It's bad.
Well, like,
Really
do you have like a go-to site, or is it this is ska? I'm just curious
No,
about
it's
that.
just I follow everybody, ska,
Okay.
and yeah, like I don't have a go-to site. What comes in my feed is what I see, and I mean, I'm in a lot of groups. I have some friends. Lee is in the chat. Him and another guy, Sal, they make a Friday new music thing every week. So I'm always getting the new music from there, and then all the other stuff that's constantly in my feed. And people will tag me and stuff all the time because they want me to share it. So it gets my
Because like
attention.
I think of like before Razor Cake, which had done some stuff for my old
Mhm.
band and stuff like is and which is more punk. Is there like there needs to be like a ska depot, you know?
Yeah, that would be cool. We'll have to talk to this is Star. Mira
Yeah,
and
my
tell
dog.
me get
Yeah.
going.
He played that song on his most recent radio show, along with two other full songs. It's happening for this ska, so people should check out that. His radio show. I think it's the biggest, most syndicated ska radio show in the States. I think it is. This is
Yeah,
Ska
and
Radio.
I think it's in like 80 countries now.
He's amazing. It's great, and he knows his stuff.
For sure. So yeah.
Um, yeah. So yeah, do you want me to talk more about some of the bands playing,
Oh,
or this is
do
ska?
you want me to pull the flyer back up for day two?
It's up to you. I can pull it up here
Yeah, I can do
too
that.
if you want me to run down some of the bands as
I'll
well.
share it so that people can see while you're talking. And there we go. So I did notice there is no Friday after party. I'm disappointed. That means you're going to sleep a little.
Oh no, that's going to be for both days. The after it just shows it kind of after
Okay, okay.
for if
I'm a
anyone
proponent of not sleeping during a ska festival.
party does not stop. The I so I'll be the only DJing before performing in between the bands each day.
Okay.
I got to bring a lot of records for that, and then there's the after party, which I'll be part of. I'll mention SGSY is Sugar, and he is amazing. He does Sing J. Do you know have you ever seen a Sing J before?
No.
So he will play the like on a record, they'll have the vocal version on a 45, on the other side the instrumental version,
Oh.
like like that, and he will sing live while doing that. He'll sing himself because he's the singer in a few different projects. One of them is Kingston Rudy Ska. Now this record was Kingston Rudy Ska. They're from Seoul. So this is Scott and Soul. This was Kingston Rudy Scott meets Dr. Ringding. I used to see Dr. Ringding. Did you ever see him?
No, he's been supposed to come to Supernova for many times and it just doesn't work out.
Oh, really? That's too
Yeah,
bad. Well,
you know,
this this was
so
actually put up on
whatever.
Jump Up Records.
Yeah. Shout out to Chuck Ram.
Well, I got a beef. No, this is we got to get some hits. I got a beef.
With
Okay,
Chuck.
Chuck, looking at you, Chuck. I Here's my problem, right? I want to support Jump Up Records. I love ska. Want to do it. They put out these sales every once in a while, which people should check out and support
Uh-huh.
them whether it's on sale or not. I got a problem, right? The problem is I don't have like a permanent US address. But sometimes friends come in and out and they want to bring me I get them to bring me records. I got a whole network of people cuz I got to stay fresh for my DJ sets, right? And I want to get in on one of these sales and support Jump Up and get like a good it's beneficial for me too. It's not just for Jump Up. But then like I see the sale and I go, "Oh shit." And I start messaging someone to see if I can get their address, but then it gets too late and I miss out on it. I just want to get in on the sale and just tell them put 10 records in a corner somewhere or something, and then I'll get them later. So Chuck, we got beef, and I want to squash it, but it's on you. So yeah, clip that and put that out. That you
I
you
think I have a
you
solution to your problem. You
okay.
can have them all sent to me and I'll just enjoy them.
Oh yes, okay, yes. You can give them away like Christmas presents or Halloween instead of
Right?
candy bars. You can give out my ska records.
And he does do some great sales, man.
Yeah, so that's my beef. I'm kidding a little bit, not really.
And we should plug this real quick. Eric Abbey and Detroit Rhythm Crew, who is joining us at the CMC this Sunday, Out of the Dark, his new album was just put out on Jump Up Records. So,
It's really good.
yeah.
Got the And that's like, for example, that's got the regular side and then the dub side. So
Mhm.
Sugar, who's vocalist in Kingston Rudy Ska and some other projects, will sing like on the dub side. Everyone should check out his series. I think it's like peak internet, my opinion. It's called Singing on the Version. I just messaged it to you. But if you
Okay.
typed in SGSY Singing on the Version and watch like all his videos, it's amazing. He sings so beautifully and really some really great songs. So he's going to be doing some after party DJing with me along on maybe one or both days, along with a member of Danny Fru's band from Indonesia named Echo Man, Reddit Echo Man. And he does some cool dub, where he's got the effects going and does some live vocals on it. Like he's got all the electronics and the echoes and the reverb and stuff. It's really cool. Like it's like in the vein of the style of Detroit Rhythm Crew in a bit, but he's doing it all himself. But because he also plays in Danny Fruspen's some Indonesian reggae music. Like what you find, I'm going on a tangent here a bit, but like the places in Southeast Asia, the island places, they really have an affinity for like the sound clash culture, the sort of like make up your own sound system on the beach, DJ battles, that sort of thing. I feel like, when you think of Jamaica and Grenada, which I've been to in the Caribbean, which have these sort of cultures, it's not really that different in form than some of the islands in Indonesia and Thailand and places like that as well. So I think it's an interesting parallel that I love seeing connections to, for sure. So, yeah.
Oh, I
We
just
okay for time?
talking. I wanted to see your face. I want to know before you get on the day too, what type of venue is this happening and what is the crowd size? Is it
Well,
outdoors, indoors,
it's
the
an
main
indoor, it's going to be packed out club. Like I said, they're expecting like 700, 800 people for
okay,
each, and it's going to be packed out, and there's going to be people kind of spilling over. So it's like a big nightclub.
got it.
Yeah.
Just one big room.
Yeah. Like the because the club is like on a second kind of floor situation, there's a lot of it in places like Hangzhou. Um, you have a lot of buildings that have like open space in them. There was a big rush in China just to make malls, make buildings. And you'll have like these live houses, that's what they call them, live houses, concert venues, clubs, whatever. Um, and they'll be in malls because they're getting like rent dirt cheap. And so there's even if the room itself isn't the biggest, like people will spill out into the hallway outside, get some barbecue outside, even though that place has got food as well. So it's a real chill situation. A lot of people will be there selling t-shirts, beads, whatever, whatever different things they make. There's a posse of crews. I see them because I DJ punk festivals and reggae and ska festivals. I see them at all the festivals. It's like the Grateful Dead of China ska, something like that. Is that outdated? They're like the fish of it.
Is the after
Um,
party at the same venue or is it someplace
yeah,
separate?
it's just going to continue. Yeah,
Okay.
it's just going to continue with DJs. And yeah, day two. There's Brick Ska, they're going to be playing. Dajong will get up on stage. That ends up being a really, really big party. 36G, they're a Chinese group. They've got some cool songs. I think I sent you some of them. Been around for quite a while. Really cool. Sky King Jack out of Wuhan. I think I showed you their t-shirt. Yes, they're out of Wuhan. And my buddy Johnny used to play guitar in them. Um, but Jackie Mato is a keyboardist who did a lot of reggae songs, and they do their own songs, a lot of their own songs too. But his nickname was the Sky King, and they kind of started as a tribute to him, but they do their own songs, including some ska punk songs. Real cool band. Got to do some shows with them around. Um, awesome. Then next, the Red Stripes out of Hong Kong. They have their own ska festival happening May 30th, the Hong Kong Reggae Ska Festival, where I'm going to be there as well. And that's going to be a lot of fun. They're carrying the flag for Hong Kong ska music. And yeah, cool guys. Paul Stripe on guitar, right? No, bass. Is he the fuck? No, bassist. He's the bassist. Yeah. I think he's the bassist. Anyway, mix of expats, but Hong Kong's a very international city, but they're very active. They've done stuff for Jump Up, I believe, as well. I think their last record is, and playing more and more internationally. Real cool band. And finally, out of Thailand is T-Bone. They're going to be doing a special instrumental set. Thailand, their ska music scene, as far as I know, only goes back, I think, like 20 years as well. There were two groups that kind of were the early wave for Thailand ska music. There was T-Bone, who was there, and I got their record here somewhere. I think I do. Maybe I forgot it. And then the other one was called the Skaberry, right? Now Skaberry only put out one album and then broke up. Um, their vocalist, they have a female vocalist named Tukva, and she got together with the bassist from Thailand's first punk band, which is called Bangkok Alcohol, and they formed a rockabilly band called Tricks O Treat, who everyone should check out and is awesome. And they play all the time in Bangkok. Uh, Last year, I think it was, me and a reggae producer named Kyle B did like a remix of a Ska song, and it kind of went a bit viral on Instagram. And I sent you that track, but it's they were a fun group, so they're broken up. But so T Bone and Ska, and now Thailand has a lot of reggae, a lot of dub, some really cool acts. Like I said, they got the sound system culture there, and yeah, my buddy Kyle B. There was just this legendary venue in Bangkok that just closed down, and I just got some cool stuff from them. But anyway, yeah, so that's the lineup. Oh yeah, there's T Bone. There, I was looking for them. Dig that. They a great album cover with Rolling Stones logo and kind of Peter Tosh stuff going on, and Dennis Al Capone. Yeah, some real gangster stuff. So looking forward to seeing them live. I've never seen them perform live. But yeah, there's a lot of reggae ska all around Asia. I'm happy to talk about if you want to hear some stuff. I
Have
always
you
got to
seen every
represent.
other band on this lineup besides T-Bone?
I have not seen T-Bone. I have. Let me see here. Let me look about this. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing Brain Failure do their special ska set. I don't think I've seen Jaffe. Every other band I've seen though, for sure. Yeah.
And
Maybe I've seen Jaffe, but it's not coming to me.
who was the one you wanted me to play? 36 what? Go ahead, tell me what that is. 36.
3060 is like a if you want to, you don't have to, but you're welcome to.
I mean, you don't
Um,
know the music. Tell me, do you think I should play it? I'll play it.
why don't you, because it's Brick Ska, it's in Hangzhou, it's going to be their town. They're like the home stars from it. Why don't you play one of their songs? I think I sent you some. And then I got to talk a little bit about Mongolia because it's a place very special to me. And I want to talk to you about Jija and a very funny story about the history
Oh,
of
good.
making music in Mongolia.
I do like funny stories, but I don't think you sent me any brick ska.
No? Damn it.
No.
Well, people should check
Yeah.
them out on YouTube. And that's cool. Why don't you play something else I sent you in there? What else is in
Anarchy
there?
Boys is calling my name. Who's Anarchy Boys?
So they were a early punk band. They did the split with Brain Failure. That's like a early ska punky song.
Well, I want
Super
to hear
hard.
that. You're going to play
In
them.
China. Yeah. This is roots of China punk. Play it. Fun. Kind of taking the piss out
That's
of
actually,
ska, but
I love that one.
great. Anarchy
Yeah.
Boys are, yeah, one of the yeah, like I said. Well,
I had
Anarchy
never
Boys,
heard that.
also Anarchy Dirks, yeah, like they one the Woolio contingent, that's one of like the early punk compilations in China history. There was like in one of the, there was a reggae kind of ska band that did covers in Beijing very early on in the like mid 90s, late 90s, I think it is. So, but then there was a ska punk group, usually considered the first ska punk band ever in China. It's called Ouch. Um, but they didn't last very long. But there's an album, I think it's on YouTube, and people can check that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out for sure. Are compilations still a thing over there? They're
Not
slowing
really
down a lot here.
anymore, but
Yeah,
that's going back like 20 years, something like that. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, we have some, but not many.
Actually, I got to mention one. People, if they're interested in the Shanghai music scene, every year there's a compilation album called "We Are Shanghai," and I MC the thing and help about it a bit, and it's like just about every Shanghai band puts it out, and it's free or maybe $1 on Bandcamp,
Hmm.
and it's a really cool initiative led currently by a guy named Sishin, who's in a band called Chimera Cult, a real cool metal band, but it's got music from every genre.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, so yeah, all sorts of stuff. But I told you about Mongolia. Here's a funny Caribbean, not directly ska, but tangent. First of all, um, this is the country of Mongolia. I got to mention Gigi. I don't think I sent you one of his songs, but this is the first 10-inch record out of Mongolia reggae ska, and there is some ska on it. He covers a classic Mongolian song in a ska form. Beat Guai. Yeah, I think I said that right. And it's real cool by a group called Nisfanis. Doesn't matter. Well, it does matter, but people should check out Jija. So when I arrived to Mongolia, I learned that during the communist years, they would secretly trade music around. This is like in the 80s, 70s, 80s, right? And all these musicians, and it was when Mongolia wasn't officially Soviet, but it was basically Soviet, and Western music wasn't allowed. There were two songs that were kind of the anthem of musicians in Mongolia. One of them, not going to be a shocker, was "Hey Jude" by the Beatles, right? And even to this day in Ulaanbaatar, there's a statue of the Beatles in the capital, which was built when I was there. Do you want to guess the other song, the anthem of the Mongolian musician that kept them going and inspired them?
Do I want to guess? I have no fucking clue.
Well, one of them was "Hey Jude." That one you maybe even could have guessed. That one was, it's a classic, right? The other one I discovered was "Rivers of Babylon." Now, but here's the thing. Rivers of Babylon, I knew from the soundtrack of The Harder They Come, the Melodians song. By the rivers of Babylon. I'm not going to sing anymore. But that's what I knew that song from. But every Mongolian knows that song. They have did not know the Melodians doing it. They knew it as a Europop song cover by Boney M. Um, Boney M doesn't really have too much cachet in the States, right? You're not
Never heard
sure?
of
Yeah. They had a hit. They were a Europop group, like they kind of mixed black Caribbean music, but with like a very European beat. Uh, they had a song called Ma Baker. The B side to Rivers of Babylon, I think, is called Brown Girl in the Ring, which is another Caribbean influenced song. But their song Rivers of Babylon was huge, and to this day, everyone knows it. But again, the Europop version, not the Jamaican version. And so, one story that I worked on for Vice was the very first thing when Mongolia got democracy in 91. The very first thing they did before anything else. They couldn't afford Paul McCartney, but they flew over Boney M from Europe to perform a special concert in Mongolia. And this is probably almost certainly for the great majority of Mongolians, the first black people they've ever seen in person. And Boney M was it was a gig. They flew them out there and they performed a concert and they had to play Rivers of Babylon. And so Jamaican music, reggae, ska music, it touches places even in Mongolia.
Cool story.
Yeah. And so when we had Kingston Rudy Scott perform for the YouTube channel, I think it was the sister channel, Funky Gear. So Art Gear and then Funky Gear, um, they performed Rivers of Babylon, kind of bringing the whole thing back.
Well, since we're telling stories, I always have to do this where my boy Eric is not here anymore. He loved to hear wild, crazy, traumatic, whatever stories from the road or your train rides, whatever. Share something. Tell me a crazy story.
Oh man, and it is so bad when we prepared this. I want to acknowledge it. I don't like to avoid things like that. Like I
You should have
prepared it with
prepared.
you
I know
and
you've
Eric.
watched.
What's that?
You should have prepared because I know you've watched and I know you
I
know.
have, I have. But I want to acknowledge that my heart's out to you. I saw your special episode, memorial episode about Eric, and
Oh, it got
it's
taken down
unfortunate.
today. I didn't tell you that. I told I was talking to the dude earlier that used Nate when we were trying to set up the broadcast thing. I told him how it was taken down because we were talking about copyrights because I had a Suicide Machine song in the memorial. It got taken down.
Uh,
So figure that
I
out.
did watch that. That was very moving. And it is so, you know, that's the thing with the communities. You meet people and they become part of your story. They become part of your scene. I mentioned that group Scum of the Earth before. The vocalist of it, Jamie Scapegoat, he passed away, but the music lives on in the scenes and the stories. That's one great thing about the scenes in the community. The thing that the stories are passed on. It's a way to keep people's legacy going, just like I think today is a part of Eric's legacy, right? I mean,
Of
I had
course.
prepared the interview to be with him, right?
Yeah, he was very excited for this actually. He was skeptical
Yeah.
at first. I'm not gonna lie. He's like, "What are we getting into, Jess?" But once he met you and talked to you, yeah, he was excited.
Well, that's very nice to hear.
Yeah.
Uh, you know, I the only time I've ever really been in danger on the I've for but the story that
Went
people
that
like to
route.
hear about, what's that?
I said you went that route. You know he liked them traumatic.
Yeah, like I the only time I've really been kind of fucked with, like really bad. Like just if your listeners or viewers don't know, like I kind of make it a thing to do kind of stunts in a way in touring and go to unique places. Like I'm the only DJ to have performed in every province in China, 52 cities in total. And like I once did a Greyhound bus tour from Florida to California, DJing along the way. And the story that I mostly get asked about is North Korea. Because I did a DJ thing in North Korea. People can read about that in Vice. But the only time I got beat up a few times in Mongolia, but I was in Myanmar, right? Now, I haven't been to Myanmar in a couple of years, Burma, as it's sometimes called, because now it's really, my heart's really out for them. Let's just say that. But I make it a mission. Like I'm not gonna get drunk and fucked up. I'm gonna wake up early and I'm gonna go check out interesting places. And so it's in Myanmar, it's a developing country, and I went to a museum, right? And it was kind of a national museum, so it was a little cheesy with its sort of history of, its country, like just a little corny, right? So I got a little bored and I kind of walked just kind of peeking around the museum, and they had like this backyard, and they had a gate, and I kind of saw there was an opening in the gate, and I walked through it, and it had some really cool like jungle nature stuff. And so I was like, fuck it, who cares? And I was just enjoying it because I had been kind of bored anyway. And I'm walking, and then two dogs appear in front of me, big dogs, and they're snarling and they're angry. And I like I snapped into, okay, like I guess I'll give them my arm to bite on so they don't bite my neck. Like they were like ready to pounce. It was one of the scary, like the absolute scariest moment of my life, if I really kind of think about it, right? And just like a few moments later, just as they're kind of leaning more forward, I see a guy in the distance see them, and he kind of looks at me for a second, and he gives a whistle, and they walk back to him, and I was safe. And so I really thought I was going to get really fucked up, and then I walked back to the gate, and it took me a long time to recover. So, you know, Russia, East Timor, Brunei, Bangladesh, all these places that I've been to, even Natchez, Mississippi, just to include them in everything else. That was the time that I felt most in danger. Even the times when I've gotten beaten up or robbed, I was, I was like, okay, you get beat up or whatever. But that was the only time I've ever really felt like I'm gonna fucking die here. There you go.
Well, I'm glad you're here. And I
Thank
bet you
you.
don't sneak into places you're not supposed to be anymore. Or do
That's
you?
not true at all. I do not, Jess, I do not learn my lessons. That's not the moral of the story. Okay.
Understandable.
Yeah. That was there. Yeah. There's my road story. But I mean, it's always like what you find, right? You know, I like, okay, Shanghai's kind of played out for me. I'm gonna just say that. But you go to a new place and like you just look out the window, you go in the supermarket, it's a whole new world of things. And that's just in a supermarket, in a market or whatever. Like you can't beat that. I don't hate the States. I went to DJ'd in Louisiana 2 years ago and went on the Smoky Mountains. It was an amazing experience for Mardi Gras and stuff, and that was great culture. But like I'm gonna go DJ in St. Petersburg, in Moscow soon. Like it's I can't be more excited about that. That's really just kind of how I think about it. And music has been my path for it. And DJing at these reggae and ska festivals, like, we founded in Mongolia the UB Dub Club, Mongolia's reggae ska scene, where we brought over the first international reggae artists there. DJing ska festivals with Eastern Standard Sounds. We kind of mentioned some of their groups before. One of my favorites that was a little bit more reggae and dub was NST and the Soul Sauce, who did some amazing music combining reggae and dub with traditional Korean vocals and styles. DJing these festivals, man, it's the best. And I think the Hangzhou This Is Ska Festival number 4, May 22, May 23, is going to be a great experience. I just know it.
How long have you been involved with the festival?
So this is, like I said, this is my second year. Last year, the first 2 years I was not involved. I'm not a founder of the festival. I want to be clear about that.
Mhm.
Last year, I helped them with the publicity and I helped them with some booking, and then I DJ'd in between the bands, right? And DJ'd some in the after party. And this year, I've taken on a bigger role. I'm a co-producer, and I'm happy to promote the festival and media like this. I really kind of try to expand it to take on more international acts, not just from Japan. We haven't even talked about
I
Japanese
know.
stuff,
We have not
which is
touched on that at all. That needs like a whole separate episode or something. I like
yeah. because of the
Like
political climate.
Coquettish. Coquettish is great. Hey Smith. I like Free Kick. That's
Oh
always
my God.
right now. You like Free Kick?
Free Kick is cool. Really love Rude Bones. They've been around
I don't
forever
know
since the
them.
90s. What's that?
I don't know them. When you talk to Chris, well, we're not going to talk about it on Sunday, but you'll probably form a relationship with Chris because he's very into Japanese ska.
Yeah,
So
we talked
that was
about,
one of the reasons I thought of asking him to come on was because I knew he was into that. And I was like, well, maybe he's explored other ska from Asia. I don't know. And he was like really into it.
yeah, like one of the godfathers of, well, of course, there's the Tokyo Ska Paradise,
I,
right?
I, I got to see them at Supernova a few years back, actually. It was great.
They've been around since like 40 years, something like that. I mean, they are legit. Usually considered, actually, I got two records here. Maybe I sent them to you. I don't, sorry, audience, I don't remember exactly what I sent over. Um, Two groups that are really great from Japan. Um, Both have been around for decades now. Both all women groups. You have the Drops, usually considered the longest running Japanese all girl ska band. Really soulful vocals. On this record, they do a great cover of no, that's a different 45 I have of them, where they do a cover of the Friend song. No. Start something. You gotta,
Yeah.
I only want to be with you. I only want to be with you. Yeah. And then you also have a Reska Ska band who blew me away when I saw them at the Hong Kong Ska Festival. I don't think they've played the mainland. Um, but all girl bands from Japan killing it with ska. Both have been around, I think, at least 20 years. So, uh,
I don't think
fantastic.
either of those. So
Yeah. Just amazing groups. So like because of the political climate, there can't be any Japanese ska bands this year for in China. No Japanese bands coming through at all. But
yeah.
last year, Beat Bandhoff has Ace as their leader, and he's one of the godfathers of Japanese ska music, and has been involved with a variety of projects. And he's a super nice guy. Beat Bandhoff is a super cool band.
Have you DJ'd in Japan? How often do you go there?
Yeah, I've DJ'd in every country in Northeast, East, and Southeast Asia. Yeah. A bunch of times. Five, six, seven times, I think it is, something like that. Most recently last year, at once, maybe twice. One of my, I'll mention, I got a button here. One of my main touring buddies, around Asia, and someone I've learned a lot. His name is Hayasan. This is a Hayasan button, right? Yeah, this is from a record he put out with a group called Spinners BL and Myers Rock. And he is like a reggae DJ. He lives in Nagoya. Like a lot of people focus on Tokyo because, it's like New York, it's got all the attention. But like in Philadelphia and other places, there's a lot of great communities and stuff. And Hayasan has a very interesting story where he was one of the godfathers of skateboarding in Japan, like 30 years ago or so. But he loves three things. He loves skateboarding, he loves reggae music, including some ska and some disco, but reggae music based, and hamburgers. Those are his things. So I've toured all around Asia with him, and he's produced some very successful records the last couple of years. And we've performed all over, and he's in Nagoya. And then through him, gone to Nagoya, Osaka, DJed in Kobe, Tokyo, I've also DJed in Fukuoka. So last year I DJed a punk event, um, and some other styles. Yo, I did a reggae event in Osaka. That was a lot of fun, and in Nagoya. So yeah, Japan's awesome. Um,
Our ska
Everything
festivals
just
are much bigger in size.
what's that?
Our ska festivals are much bigger in size, yeah.
Well, the thing with Japan is things are not really big.
It looks
Like
big from here. It looks very big.
for some of the festivals that like if you see Tokyo Rock and some of the festivals, yeah. But like even like some of the bands, like things are kept very small and tidy, but they're very well respected and the vibes are really good. Like the sound quality is really good. Um, yeah, like you have something specific in mind. Like I'm sure like when Tokyo Ska, Paradise, right? Like when they play like they can play like a big festival or something, you'll probably see a big crowd. But like club shows
Mhm.
compared to the States, from my experience in other places, they're small, but people are super into it, right? For the
I
most
got
part,
to
that's
see
been my experience.
Hey Smith came over here 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, and I got to see them twice in a small club, both of them. Both times I saw them, it was excellent.
Awesome. Yeah, there's nothing better than seeing a show in a small band. But yeah, Japan just has just so many great quality things. But also like I really love a lot of the Korean scene. The one of the earlier bands in Korea, it's called Windy City, and they recently reformed. And so they're really doing great stuff. There's one of the godfathers of the Korean scene. His name is Chung Dal. He used to play trumpet in Kingston Rudy Skull, but one of those one of those be the scene people, right? Who organizes and DJs and does whatever that needs to be done. But I really love a lot of the Korean ska scene and what they do.
When's the last time you've been to the States? 2 years ago?
Yeah, 2 years, a little bit more than 2 years ago, I was the judge at a Elvis festival in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee.
Interesting.
That's true. I'm a big Elvis guy. Do you like Elvis too any much?
My husband loves Elvis. His whole family loved Elvis. There was like Elvis everywhere in his house growing up. So, I
I'm a,
mean, I can
I'm a big
appreciate
Elvis
Elvis.
guy.
Yeah,
You
he
should
actually
Laura
has the taking care of business tattoo on his arm.
PCB.
Yeah,
Yeah, taking care of business with a flash.
yeah.
I got actually I'm going to Hangzhou. I've got an Elvis tattoo that I got on his 88th birthday. There's 88 in Chinese, and I got it in Hangzhou.
Hmm, nice.
Where I'm going to. Laurel Aiken, great reggae artist, did some He does a great cover of "Don't Be Cruel." I really like a lot. Maybe you guys can compromise on that.
Well, I'll have to check that out and let him hear it.
Yeah, Laurel Aiken, "Don't Be Cruel."
Uh,
Um, and so I use that opportunity to DJ then around the Smoky Mountains, Tennessee, North Carolina, and then I went to Louisiana because it was Mardi Gras season. And I
mhm.
got a DJ like in the back of a cart in the middle of the French Quarter in New Orleans and also in Lafayette and Baton Rouge. Visited a bunch of places, dug a bunch of records, and like New Orleans songs, New Orleans R&B, it's right at the bottom of the Mississippi River. And Jamaica, they could pick up the radio from there. So they heard Fats Domino and those guys, and that was a big influence on ska music. Dun 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 dun. Dun. It's got the same sort of vibe to it. So that was the last time. I love, we'll see when I can come back. Maybe I can come. Now with fuel prices.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's a great time to be flying around too much. I had planned my kind of train tour that I'm doing before any of this jet fuel thing came, but now it's synergy, right? Something like that.
Yep.
Have you ever been outside the States? Have you traveled? Let me ask you this. What's the farthest you've traveled for a show?
For a show, probably California. Yeah,
What did you go
was
see?
California. Actually, my first show in California was Rancid at the House of Blues, downtown Disney. That was wild. Uh,
Cool. Rented in
2006,
California. That's awesome.
20 years ago. And then we went back 2 years ago to go to the Final No Effects shows.
Oh
And
yeah.
somehow we got to watch them backstage. It was really fucking sick. Yeah, I have
Were
no
they
idea.
fighting backstage and stuff? Were they trying to beat up Fat Mike and
Yeah,
stuff?
well, Fat Mike would not stop to say hello or take a picture. I will say that. So we like kind of took a picture with him behind us, whatever. He was in a mood. No, there was no fighting backstage that we saw,
Yeah.
but they weren't getting along very well from what I heard, you know.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, I mean, I was just guessing about the fighting thing, but
No, not none or whatever. But yeah, that was an experience. 3 days of that. But
oh wow. Yeah.
that's the farthest I've gone for a show. I never used to travel for shows. I would just go to shows in Philly. It was after COVID and after my kid was old enough to take with me to shows that I started traveling for shows.
Mhm, mhm.
But now we have like the normal places we always go. Like we try to always go to Supernova and we try to go to Camp Pennsylvania. I'm going out to Grand Rapids for a show this summer. Chicago, I'm going to for the first time. I'm excited about that. Yeah.
Cool.
But no,
I've
not
only
in the States.
where do you sing in Chicago?
I am seeing Catch 22, Something to Do, Beat the Smart Kids, and Chuck Ren's DJing. So I will see a DJ set and I will tell him about your beef.
I want you to walk up with him and confront him about it. I want like the video camera,
Yeah,
like TMZ style. What do you have to say about this thing? I want Skagazine TMZ style video. Boom,
oh
boom,
yeah.
boom, boom, boom. You know,
So yeah, lots of shows coming up. Oh, I'm also going up to Massachusetts for another ska festival that we're sponsoring. It's not announced yet, but Pioneer, I mean, the festival's announced. My sponsorship is not. Now it is. Pioneer Valley Ska Fest. We are the headliner tier sponsor for that. So I'm excited about
breaking
that.
news.
Yeah.
Breaking news.
You're here first. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we go up there and we
Um,
do interviews on site and all that jazz, you know.
For sure, for sure. That's really cool. Yeah. Hopefully I can make it out and yeah, people should hit me up if they want me to come DJ. I can
Yeah,
even if
we are preparing a festival of our own. That's not, I mean, I announced that I was doing it, but that's as far as I've talked about it. It's called Be the Scene Fest, and I was hoping for it to be this year, but it's probably going to be next spring, I'm guessing.
awesome. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
So maybe
Uh
we'll get you over here to DJ because you know our
that'll be a
budget
lot of fun.
is huge.
I gotta yeah, spin some Asian ska music and yeah, we haven't even like I mean I love going to places like I just went to Laos um a little while ago and finding like the reggae ska music there. Like I said, and just it means a lot to me to be able to go see it in person and meet the people in person. There's a guy named Duth there. Duth, I think I'm saying it right. Sorry, buddy. Um, and he's got a group called Kawazawa, and they play like some traditional Laotian instruments in their music and stuff. It's real cool stuff. And yeah, like you know, discovering the music in each place that I go. So and like in St. Petersburg, I'm meeting up with the St. Petersburg Ska Jazz Review guys, and I'm hopefully going to do a live CMC with them there. And they're on Jump Up Record. I think they're on Jump Up Records. They definitely have like good American distribution at some points for sure.
So you're going to continue your CMC while you're on this journey of yours.
Oh yeah, I got a live one. So just quick background for people. So the Critical Music Club is a live stream music discussion thing. It's a panel of me and 12 people. Not saying it's like Jesus, but it's also not like Jesus. Not like anyway, or 12 angry men, women, uh, gender fluid people. It's all good, and we have a set topic of music that we discuss. To me, it's very important to have radical inclusivity. And so, whether you're a music expert or not, everyone's invited, and we kind of even the playing field by only talking about a set group of music. It started as an in-person thing in Shanghai, but it's moved online now. We've done about 80 of them, including Rock and Roll Hall of Famers and ska legends and local groups. and they're live broadcast on YouTube now. And so the first half is always an album discussion, sometimes two EPs like we're kind of doing this Sunday. They're basically two shorter albums. And then we usually discuss them with a special guest, usually the artist, but not always, but often. And then the second half is a critic list, and that's a ranked top five song list on a theme. There are no wrong answers. Everyone can include what they like, but they're like your top five bird songs, your top five fuck off songs, your top five purple songs. Everyone submits them. We put together a Spotify playlist, QQ playlist if you're in Asia, and we discuss them and present them. And we really just found that it's interesting when people share what they love with music. It tends to be a very beautiful thing. So this Sunday we're doing with Ska Gazine, Jigon Orchestra, their most recent EP, and Detroit Rhythm Crew with Out of the Dark, and it's going to be an interesting reggae ska dub duo hemisphere mishmash fusion thing. Yeah, and then the week after that, um, I think that one is two hardcore bands out of China. Yeah, that's what it is. There's one group. These are like really hard, like crazy bands. One's called "Fuck Your Birthday," and the other one is called um, um, uh, Hot Piss. So we're going to talk about both of them. They're going to join. And then the week after that is a pro wrestling special because I'm the announcer for pro wrestling. So we're going to do that with a China-based pro wrestler. And then it keeps going. We've got a whole bunch of other great acts. But I'm going, one cool thing is because I'm going to be on the road, I'm going to be able to do some of the interviews in person with them, right? So it's a good chance to be able to connect with it and do it in person. And it's going to include some Chinese acts and Russian acts and all that jazz.
I might have to sit in for that hardcore episode. I like hardcore.
Fantastic. So
I
fuck
wake
your
up.
birthday and hot piss.
It is really
Yeah,
early. I might have to get the replay. I wanted to sit in for the brain failure one, but I had a show that I hosted the night before, and there was no way I was waking up.
I dig it. I dig it. I dig it.
No
Like,
show this weekend, so I'm gonna wake up early and we're gonna do this thing together. And I'm gonna have five scene songs for you.
I'm looking forward to it for sure, for sure. And we got people joining, like for this one, we got people joining from the States. We've got like a Beijing punk rocker. We've got a Bali. Is he in Bali or Jakarta? Like an Indonesian ska guy who DJs Ace the boss Ace. He's like an Indonesian guy who DJs. So we got people joining from Vietnam, of course, the Jigon Orchestra guys. So people joining from all around the world to talk music. I think it's a world peace and everything, you know?
It sounds great.
Cool. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Anything else that you want to talk about that we didn't already speak on?
What else? Yeah, people should check out Artgear, Artgear on YouTube and Instagram. It's all about Mongolia, a lot of cool traditional footage. If you want me to DJ, you can hit me up on Instagram at DJ Border Breaks, DJ Border, Border Breaks, Breaks, or Brian Offenther, the name my mother gave me on Facebook. And
I'll throw all that in the show notes when I publish.
yeah, so hit me up. And if you want to join the Critical Music Club as a critic, just we call it that because it's the Critical Music Club, but if you discuss music or you want your music featured, let me know. We'd love to have you and trying to figure out how to expand it. But I like to watch silent movies and read books and can't deal with social media shit. Um, but it's all good. I'm so proud of you and happy for you continuing this, even though Eric isn't here for it. And you should keep it up. And anything I can do to support you, that would be fantastic.
I might have thought about bowing on it a couple times,
No, no, no,
but
no,
I'm here
no,
and I'm
no.
going to keep it going.
Yeah, do what you got to do.
Yeah, I got to keep going. That's what I got to do.
Yeah, 100%. And if anyone wants to come to This Is Ska, May 22, May 23. It's pretty soon, but you'll be fine. We'll situate you. I'll make sure you're well taken care of, even if you've never been to China. Don't worry. It's going to be A-okay.
I'm out. I don't have a passport, so
Got to get on that. Come on.
I am aware. I want to go to the UK next year. It's in my plans. Go see
100%. Yeah,
famous idea cannot come to me, so I'm going to them.
there you go. Go up to
You haven't,
Canada for those
if you
beautiful
haven't
things.
listened to Famous Idea yet, you should listen to them. Have you?
I have not.
Oh,
I have not.
you need to check them out.
I will do my best. I'll check that out.
Start with The
Well,
Road to Sedition. That's a great album.
famous ID, the road to tradition. All right, I'm writing it down. Um,
You won't be disappointed, I swear.
I'm psyched, and yeah, I'm always about discovering new music, and then including that. Like I DJ'd in Wales and Cardiff, and I'm connected to the dub. That's what, I know the guys in the Cardiff dub scene where they do reggae ska events and stuff. If you're gonna go to England, Cardiff is a bus ride away. You can
Yeah.
do like a,
That where they
a,
have they have a museum or something over there, I think. Is that in Cardiff?
what?
Some kind
Say
of
that again. What do they have in
there's
there?
like the ska museum over there.
Really? That'd be interesting. I don't know about that. I
Oh,
didn't
hold
see
on.
that.
Here it is.
It could be.
Oh no, it's Coventry. I'm sorry. It's in the Coventry Music Museum.
Oh, I don't know that one. But Cardiff is in Wales, and it's like a cool college town. They have the world's longest running record store,
Oh, and
longest operating
my
record.
family comes from Wales, actually. I do know
Oh,
that.
don't tell your husband this, because
Why?
well, actually, do tell him maybe. But I went to Wales because they have the world's biggest
Elvis?
Elvis festival there. Is in Porthcawl, Wales. It, it is psychedelic in its Elvisness. Literally every window, every person, every corner of every restaurant has Elvis karaoke going or performances or acoustic performances. It is like psychedelic in its intensity of Elvis. And
Well,
it's
maybe
in
that's
this
how I get him to go. So I'll try.
Porthcawl Elvis. Everyone in Porthcawl watching this live stream, give a thumbs up. There's no one there. It's amazing. It's awesome. Yeah, that's what's up.
All right. On that note, I guess we'll wrap this up and invite everybody to come watch the CMC Sunday, which will be
For
broadcast
sure.
on YouTube. Do you want to say the name of the YouTube channel?
I think it's Critical Music Club, something like that. I don't know.
I'll also drop that in the show notes and on Instagram. 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. That would be 5 a.m. Pacific Time. 8.
It's like music church. Sunday morning music church. Like you get your spirits up for the week. That's what I tell people in the States who tune in.
Yeah, and you can go back to sleep afterwards. It's still early enough to like lay back down.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
So thank you
Lazy
for
Sunday
coming on,
afternoon.
and I look forward to Sunday and whatever else happens in the future.
Thank Jess, and as a wise person once said, be the scene.
Oh, I usually share that at the end. I got to share it now. Fuck.
Be the scene.
Just
Thank
talk.
you to everyone who tuned in.
Yeah. I shared it last night. I'm not gonna go find it now because it takes me too long. But yeah, everybody should be the scene. Get to a show. Support local bands, touring bands, all the bands, your bartenders, buy some merch, do it all. And make a new friend while you're there. Because
You
the
just be
thing is,
involved.
yeah.
Put up posters. Everyone can always do something. Help move gear. Put up posters. Do social media posts. Design a flyer. Do something.
And I am begging people to not only just go and see the popular bands when they come through, go to a small show for Christ's sake. Like, there's some excellent bands coming through for really cheap. You just got to get there to see them.
You want to be ahead of the curve. You don't want to wait
Exactly.
till you become big. Do that up for sure. And Chuck, I'm coming for you, Chuck. Be careful. You're gonna have to change it to Jump Back Records.